But guess what? Your age is still going anyway. That time that you're worried about will be spent regardless. So you might as well spend the time doing something. Hey love, welcome to La La Land. My name is Laifa. I usually talk about all things career switching, and I like to think that I'm here to give you a pep talk. And also I have shared the experience that I've had in terms of the emotional, mental journey that I've gone on, having transitioned from one career to another. And yeah, this is what I do here. Today, I want to talk about some of the experiences I have with women who feel like they're stuck in a rut in real life. And I like to think that my content, outside of like the day in the lives and the travel vlogs and all that stuff, but the substance is really about trying to encourage you or anybody else who feels like they're stuck in a rut, and how to pull themselves by the bootstraps, essentially, to get themselves out of their situation into a better situation. I've shared my emotional, my mental experience, having dealt with imposter syndrome, having dealt with self-doubt, being the only Black woman in a space, and what that actually feels like. But today I want to talk about the person who is feeling sorry for themselves because they feel like they don't have the education, they don't have the grades, they don't have this, they don't have that, and they are maybe in their 30s and they just feel like this is their situation, this is their circumstance, and rather than doing something about it, they complain about it. And it irks me because I'm just like, you have all of this mouth to complain. That's a lot of energy. That is a lot of energy. Why not use that energy to really sit down and try and connect the dots? Okay, this is what I have to do to get myself out of this situation. Okay, I don't have the GCSEs. Go back to school. It's not that hard. I mean, I'm talking about people that live in the UK and in the Western world. There are systems and spaces out there to make, education accessible for everyone. Yes, you would be an older student. Yes, it would take time. But guess what? Your age is still going anyway. That time that you're worried about will be spent regardless. So you might as well spend the time doing something. And one of the things that I've had to remember is that, okay, this thing is going to take time. But if I wasn't spending time to do this thing, the time would go regardless. And what would I spend that time doing? So let me use that time to do something useful, to better myself, to improve myself, to make myself more desirable for the market. Because yes, I have spoken about we're in a really competitive market right now, and it may continue to be so. We don't know how long the job market will be like this, or maybe this might be the new state of normal. Who knows? Generally speaking, these situations go up in waves. That we have highs and we have lows. Sometimes it's an employer's market, sometimes it is an employee's market, and right now it is an employer's market, which means a lot of the time they can really exploit the application process so that they can get the perfect candidates for what they desire. Unfortunately, for the person who is applying for the role, it can seem long, frustrating and draining. But I'm even going a step back. Before you've even gotten to the place of applying, when you're at the place of self-improvement, self-development, and you find out the people around you, it seems like everybody's improving. Everybody's got all of these fabulous jobs. Everybody's doing all of these nice things, and everybody can afford nice things. And you seem to be the one that can't. But rather than doing something about it, you are the one complaining about it. And you're looking at your friends as to, okay, can you help me with this thing? And all they can do essentially is point you in the right direction. They can't take the exams for you. They can't study for you. I'm in a space whereby a lot of my friends or the people that I'm around, they're either having babies or they're very much career-driven women. Everybody's really set in their lifestyle, and maybe we'll only get to meet up once a month or once every 2 months because everybody's life is busy. Sometimes we're making appointments for phone calls because we know that, we might chat on the phone for 2-3 hours and I need to schedule this in because I can't just randomly talk to you for 2-3 hours on the phone because, like the Nigerians say, I have things doing. I'm really talking to the person who's feeling sorry for themselves. I really want them to understand that there are things, there are steps that you can take to improve your situation. Yes, it is difficult. In terms of like a cost of living crisis, the recession, the space. Yes, things are expensive. These are probably some of the worst times in terms of financially, in terms of like even social mobility. I know that the big topic on everybody's lips, and especially in social media, is home ownership. It very much feels like a point of success if you have a mortgage. I'm talking from a British point of view. Somebody living in the UK, it seems like a point of success for everybody at the minute. But before you can even get there, if you're not at that space yet, and you're seeing your friends and people around you move up in the world, and you're like, oh, my English isn't good, do something about it. Do something about it. Even if you feel like you can't afford those lessons, save up your money, work hard to save up your money to take the right steps. Outside of the economy, we've never been in better times in terms of information. Information has never been so accessible. Something that we have in this generation that previous generations didn't have is access to information. The internet is there. Information is at our fingertips. If you have a phone and you have data, you have access to information, and you can use Wi-Fi or whatever the case may be. You have access to information. I like to say this all the time, but Google is your friend. You know what else is your friend? Social media is your friend. You'll be surprised. People think that social media apps like TikTok is just for like entertainment and people dancing and getting a bit of a giggle and comedy, but I'm not going to lie to you. The amount of access to resources, information that I have taken from using TikTok as a search engine now. Like, I don't just use it as, entertainment, but TikTok, outside of YouTube and Google, TikTok is now a really good search engine. You can get information just like that at the tip of your fingers. Some people that are making excuses are missing a trick. Instagram is your friend. YouTube is your friend. Google is your friend. Use the internet to the best of your ability and get access to information. Back in the day, most likely, yes, the average person who was earning an average salary had access to buying property a lot easier than we do now, right? They didn't have a cost of living crisis that we have, right? But what they didn't have was the access to information that we have. Like before, information was for the elite, the privileged. You had to be in a certain network. And even still up till today, it still happens like that. Only in certain spaces that you will get access to certain information. There are people breaking those rules so that the everyday man, the everyday woman can have access to information. What am I saying? Use your resources. Starting point, get the education to level up. Start talking to people, your friends, your family, the people that inspire you, or they have the lifestyle that you want. Talk to them. Be honest. Oh my goodness, I saw that you started this business, or you have this such and such. What are the steps that you took to do it? What are the insurance things that you needed to do it? Can I know? Because there's that I want to do. A few years ago, I was in a situation whereby I was job hunting like the devil was chasing me. I always say this because people think, oh, you got it like so quickly. I'm just like, you don't know the mindset that I had. I was looking for work like the devil was chasing me. And I was very intentional about the type of work that I was looking for. I knew that this was the area that I wanted to go into. These were the type of roles that I wanted to do. And I looked specifically for that thing. Now, I remember opening up to one of my aunties and I said, look, I'm looking for work. This auntie said to me, if you're looking for work, if you're serious about looking for work, there's work out there. And maybe she meant nothing by it, but at the time, I was like, I'm not looking for any work. I know I can do any job. I know that I could, if there's any job, I know that I can do, but I'm very intentional about the work that I'm looking for. But when I heard that, what I heard is get any job. That's what I did at the time. I got any job, and I used that job to continue to make a bit of money. It wasn't giving me a lot of money, but at least it allowed me to make a bit of pocket money, right? Because it wasn't that much. and I still had time to think, to connect the dots. So whilst it wasn't like a very career focused job, it was a very mundane job. I didn't have to think too hard. You just, like a laborer job, like it wasn't anything special, but I did the job and it allowed me, and it pushed me even further. It gave me more vim to find the job that I'm doing today, because whilst I was in that job, and I tell you, I got such poor treatment. We will go into it one of these days. I will share my experience of like some of the jobs that I've had to get into where I am today, and not that I had to do those jobs to get to where I am today, but it's just the experience that I had. Anyway, I'm saying all of that to say I was doing this job. I didn't mind it. It wasn't bad, but I hated the way I was being treated by people who were more superior than me, like managers. I found that some of them were on a power trip and they liked to get me to do like things that were not part of my job role, because I was just like this very unimportant person. And I was just like, no one, I don't blame you, but it's me that is here. I don't blame you, it's me that is here. And I remember like certain people, like I was treated so badly, and I just thought, it's my fault. It's because I took this job. And that you're like, for myself, I'm like, I want more than this. I'm no offense to anybody who does that job, but I was just like, I want more than this. It's my fault. So it gave me even more vim. When I tell you the vim that I had to move out of that job so quickly, I think I will do a story time on it one of these days and like go into detail to just encourage you to say, you're not the only one who has to do a job that you think that you're more than. You'd be surprised the amount of people that have very good jobs, doctors, lawyers, accountants, solicitors, you name it, that have had to do a side job to make ends meet because money just isn't enough. But people don't openly speak about it, because guess what? It's not your business. They may tell you to say, look, you're not the only person who's had to do this thing. If you need money, get the extra money. Try and work backwards. I remember speaking to somebody very dear to me, and they're a single mum. They have one child and they work part-time, but they get support from the government to pay their rent, housing benefit, universal credit, you know what it is, right? And they stated to me, look, in order for me to get out of this situation, which is very clear that they understand themselves, that they said I would need to earn £3,000 after tax. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's easy. That's doable. That's like a no-brainer, right? And to be fair, the average person in the UK, I don't think they earn £3,000 after tax. Actually, you do the Googles and you can tell me. But I was like, this is a no-brainer. You've already said, oh, this is the end goal. I need to be able to earn £3,000 after tax, so that I could live the lifestyle that I want to live and be able to pay my bill, look after my kids, because currently they're not earning up to that. And I just thought, wow, like she's such a clever babe, but she's not doing anything about it. What's interesting is hearing people trying to look for shortcuts. We genuinely don't know what will make you blow, but don't rely on somebody else to be your source of income, right? You can do that yourself. I said to this person, why don't you do such and such? And they were just like, look, I don't have that brain. Now, anything that you say about yourself is true. That's my honest belief. If you say that you don't have that brain, then who am I to argue with you? But you've already told yourself that. So then why complain, or why be perturbed about your situation because you've told yourself you don't have that brain? Have you tried? The situation that I'm in right now, if I tell you, a few years ago, I would have said to myself that the same thing. I would have said, I don't have that brain. From being a creative to being a STEM babe, how? I would have told you it's not my calling, but I was like, you know what? I want something and I need something for myself. I need to be able to prove something to myself, because I was very unhappy, very unsatisfied and frustrated, and I didn't want it to build in resentment towards my husband, resentment towards my kids, because let's be honest, when you are a mother, and especially there are so many more sacrifices that you have to make than a father does, right? Generally speaking, we are the main caregivers. And if you don't have your thing set up, if you're not giving up time with your child because you've decided to go back to work much sooner than you expected, you're giving up the work itself. It's one or the other. Even the system in the UK isn't set up to support women. Like the price of childcare is so extortionate. It forces women out of work because we all sit down, we do the maths, and we're like, I can't afford this. Your child is at school age now. This is perfect timing for you. You're not breastfeeding. You're not staying up late at night. This is perfect timing for you. Just be intentional with how you spend your time. You're tenacious about it. You work hard. That £3,000 after tax that you want is very, very doable. But people just, I don't know if they get complacent. They just become like, oh, this is what I deserve because this is as far as my brain can go. I'm not brilliant like that. Who told you? Have you tried? Have you tried? And also it goes to saying sometimes in our formative years, maybe we've believed what our parents have told us. Maybe you grew up in a toxic environment and your parents told you that you're not smart enough. So some parents may have said these things to you, so you feel like, oh, because I'm not brilliant, my parents have told me that I'm not brilliant. What is the point in trying? You know that the brain is a muscle. You can exercise that muscle just like any other muscle. Don't feel like you have to stay in your situation. I mean, if you have any questions in particular about particular steps that I've taken, some of the things that I've done, I mean, it's very simple. I've got myself educated. I did courses. I spoke to people. I had an accountability person that would check me every week and would literally say to me, how far with the job hunt? And it was annoying. It was frustrating, but it made me, sit up. It made me sit up and be like, okay, this person is expecting results for me, but more so I should expect results for myself. What are the results that you're expecting for yourself rather than sitting and complaining and moaning? You'll work it out if you want it that badly. What are you doing about it? You said, oh, I need to earn £3,000. That's not impossible money. And I know it might say, oh, that's easy for you to say. You don't know my circumstances. A few years ago or 5 years ago, I would not believe that this is the direction that I would have gone down. I wouldn't believe that I'm doing what I'm doing now, but I'm doing it and I'm putting in the work, and I put in the work, and I continue to put in the work because I want to be a better version of myself. I want to be a subject matter expert. People can't just price you anyhow. Imagine you want £3,000 a month. If you really set your sights higher, you could earn £3,000 in a day. Again, I'm talking to the average person, the average woman in particular, who feels like, how do I get myself out of this situation? And especially in the system that we live in the UK, whereby when you are on benefits, like benefits are there to support you. Once you're standing on your feet, you can move on, right? It's the steps that you need to take. And some people do get complacent. Once you earn over a penny over a certain amount, all the support that you were getting from the system stops, but you're still in a very dire situation because you're only earning a penny over. So it's not like you can actually fully live in the well-being that you need to, right? I get what people are saying. I get where people are coming from when they feel this way. Also, that's why I'm always like, use the support around you. If it's that you have to wait, you're still at a stage where your child is not at school age, they're still at nursery, give it time. Nursery is a whole nother subject. Nursery prices are diabolical. After their mortgage, like the highest cost is nursery fees. If not, sometimes the nursery fee is the same price as their mortgage, and sometimes more. And this is just per child. Imagine if you have 2, 3, 4. You're sitting at home. You're sitting at home because you're like, this is impossible. You want to start a family, but you can't even go back to work. The money that they make us pay for childcare, why don't they force fathers to pay mothers that? Anyway, I could ramble on and on. Find the resources, find the loopholes, find what it is, talk to the right people, look at the people that you admire and you aspire to be like. I have quite a few online mentors that I have real life mentors and I have online mentors, and I'm like, oh, it helps me to connect the dots because I don't have access to them. I'm like, okay, this is how this person did this thing. Let me figure it out. Is this something that is accessible to me in my part of the world? Can I try this? And I know because it sounds like, you're making it sound so easy. It's not easy. I'm not saying that it's easy. Far from it. There will be tears. The season that I cried, that is a story time in itself. But the reason why I don't go into it, because it's like, it would seem like I'm bashing this company, but there was a time when I was doing a program and every week I cried because the deadlines were tough. I cried every week. Everybody in my family couldn't recognize me. I couldn't recognize myself. My sisters were like, I miss you. And I was like, me too, I miss me. I don't know who I am right now. And I'm still not at the place that I want to be. I'm still literally still crawling, still on my way to somewhere. If it's just an extra such and such that you want so that you can pay your rent and pay this, it's not impossible. But why won't you put in the work to make it happen for yourself? Why would you think that you need to depend on a man to do this? Why do you think that you need to wait for that thing to blow, that side hustle? Why can't you do both? I discourage struggling artists. What's the word? Struggling artism, if that's even a term. I discourage it. I discourage it when you have responsibilities and you have bills to pay. If you have this passion, this dream, it needs to be a side hustle. It needs to be after you do your 9 to 5. It needs to be your 5 to 10. That business, it needs to be on the side. It needs to. And you're thinking, I don't have enough time. But guess what? You also don't have enough money. You have children to feed. You have yourself to feed. You have rent to pay. You have a mortgage to pay. Is it going to pay for it? You're just waiting for a sugar daddy to do it for you. And guess what? There's a cost in that too. I could go on for ages. Recently, I made a TikTok video about I was in a certain environment and somebody said, oh my goodness, another person that I'm in close proximity to went to, say, Eton or something like this. Is like, if you're unaware, this is like one of these schools that the prime ministers of the UK go to, right? It's an elite school, right? And they seemed really excited about it and be like, oh my goodness, did you know that this person goes to that? And I wasn't fazed. In fact, I was like, slightly like, why are you getting gassed about that? If anything, you should be excited that you're around somebody like me. And the reason I stated that was because this person had a leverage that I didn't have. But guess what? We're in the same space. So who do you think put in more energy to get here? Who do you think put in more vim to get here? Do you think it was that person? Or do you think it was me? Now, I didn't say this directly to the person, but that was what I was thinking about myself, because having come from a state school, right? I went to a regular comprehensive school. I didn't get private school treatment. In fact, I sometimes wonder if I had to do a school reunion with like the girls that I went to high school with, how many of us are what I guess deemed as successful, is whatever, like successful is a broad term, right? Success is different to everyone. But how many of us are okay? Even from primary school, how many children are not in prison? I wasn't exposed to a certain way of life or how people do things. And you're excited about this person? When there was a nepotism, that's how they got here. And you're excited about seeing them? How about being excited to see, not me in particular, but people like me, people like yourself? I can't remember the point of why I was telling that story. I think I was just trying to say that you don't know the spaces that you will land yourself in by just working hard and trying your best. And, you know, if it doesn't work out, because this is what I say to myself, if I try my best and the end goal is such and such and I don't hit that end goal, I would hate that I haven't turned every stone, crossed every T, dotted every I. I want to know that I've absolutely tried my best, despite a system that is against me. Some of us aren't dreaming hard enough. And we've told ourselves, this is it. This is how it's going to be. I'm going to have to be on the welfare system forever because there's no way I can. Okay. If you're comfortable like that, who am I to encourage you to do something else? If this is you and you like it, do you, babes? Do you? But if you're frustrated and annoyed, stop complaining and start connecting the dots. In this information age, you have no excuse. People like, I don't know, Gary Economics telling us that we're all cooked, like there's no chance for any of us. Yes, people will say that, and that may be a fact, but that shouldn't stop you from trying. So because of that, you're just going to be like, you know what, I can't be bothered. Aim for the stars and land on the moon. Is the moon such a bad place? You're not back on Earth. You landed somewhere better than where you were before. I'm talking too much. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. I've been rambling for God knows how long. Anyway, until the next one, bye.